I think Gavin's gonna get him.
Oh!
What's this happening?
Jack Pattillo was born and raised in Austin, Texas, and since he was a kid, he was super into video games and movies. And when he was in high school, like Ray, he originally wanted to make video games, but after taking a bunch of media classes, he discovered his passion for video production. Here, he found out that not only did he like video editing, but he was also really good at it. Because of all the people he knew, he was pretty much the only person who could do it.
And then I fell in love with editing, and I was like, oh my god, and I loved that, and I took all the editing classes I could. Like I took an intro to editing class, like I was doing like final projects the first week of class because I knew what I was doing, and I just loved it.
Due to his talent for video editing, as well as his passion for video games, he was able to get a job at Aspire Media, a video game publishing company where he edited videos for their games. Here, he got really good at making videos using video game footage, which would help him later at his job at Rooster Teeth. He continued to edit for Aspire for around 3 years, and had then moved on to writing movie reviews for the website Ain't It Cool News, which was a site that made news and reviews for movies, comics, and TV shows. And in his work, Jack made quite a few friends in the industry, one of which held a poker night, which Jack was invited to. And when he got there, playing at that poker night was none other than Mr. Bernie Burns.
I ended up meeting Bernie and Joel at a poker game, and Bernie took like an $80 pot from me, this son of a bitch. But I was like a broke-ass college kid, and he was a guy living in like the fancy part of Austin, and he took all his money from me. But anyway.
So after Jack got his ass kicked at poker, Bernie offered him a contract since he liked Jack's work on Ain't It Cool, and wanted him to do the same for Rooster Teeth.
And then they were like, when we're not doing Red versus Blue, when we're off season, we need content for the sites. Would you be interested in writing for us?
And one of Jack's first projects was a show called Forced Enjoyment in 2008, which was a show where Jeff would take awful video games and force Jack to play them.
Because this game has seriously been the worst thing that's ever happened to me in the last few months, and I couldn't take it anymore.
Jack hated it, but it worked out for him because this is what made Jeff like him, and they became really close friends. So close that one day, Jeff pitched him an idea for a new website he was thinking about.
When Jeff pitched me Achievement Hunter, he's like, it's game facts, but with video in the Rooster Teeth personality. So I thought, you would go to GameStop, pick up your game, and then pick up the Achievement Hunter DVD that you would then take home and watch with you.
And shortly after, Jack appeared as the host of the first ever Achievement Guide, the Achievement Guide to Millionaires Club in Burnout Paradise.
I picked a stunt car that's one of the later ones, but really you can use any of the stunt cars in this run. It's a pretty easy setup to get a bunch of points.
And after this, Jack was able to make more new shows with Jeff and the rest of Rooster Teeth, starting Fails of the Week, Achievement Horse, Awoo, showing up on the Drunk Tank podcast, which later became the RT podcast, and most importantly, Extra Life. In 2010, Jack had heard of this charity called Extra Life, which was about gamers around the world teaming up to raise money for sick children. Jack, who loved the idea of charity work, pitched the idea to Jeff.
We literally set a camera up, did a live stream on our YouTube channel, and it was like we raised like $20,000 that first year. It was like, holy crap, we did all this.
After the success of the first Extra Life, a couple years later in 2013, Jack said we should do it again, but bigger. This time with Katie, who he was now in a relationship with, and Blaine, who at this point was still just an intern.
I'm Jack from Achievement Hunter, and with me is...
Katie
from the community, and...
Blaine the intern.
Blaine the intern. So we are kicking off.
Originally, Jack and Katie planned for it to be a smaller stream and didn't really have any plans for it. But then, X-Rain Vav showed up, Michael ate a bunch of lava cakes, Gavin vomited, and it became this huge thing. And this is when Rooster Teeth's Extra Life really found itself, because fans loved it, and they ended up raising almost $200,000 in one day and broke a bunch of records for Extra Life.
And we were the #1 most raised for a single team in all of Extra Life ever.
And from this, Extra Life became an extremely popular yearly event at Rooster Teeth, with Jack becoming the director of charity work and Katie becoming his partner in crime. And by 2020, Rooster Teeth and its community has now raised over $5 million for Extra Life, breaking a ton of records and helping sick kids across the country. And Dell Children's Hospital, the kids' hospital that Rooster Teeth donates to, has now built their Rooster Teeth Healing Gardens, which is part of its mental health unit, to commemorate and thank Rooster Teeth and the fans for all they did for the children. And none of this would be possible without the work of Rooster Teeth, its community, Katie, and Jack.
I've been very careful about any sort of like fame or any sort of like importance I get from doing what I do, being on the internet. I always try to drive to something more important than me. It's like the most rewarding thing, because like that's legacy stuff right there. Yeah. It's like when I'm long gone, when Rooster Teeth's long gone, that will still be there helping kids.
This is the greatest company on the planet.
the greatest community on the goddamn universe. Thank you so much, everyone.
RT community.